Hello and welcome to this lecture. So in this lecture, what we are going to do is that we are going to try inserting some more values into our database. So in the previous lecture, dot type equals, and you could type in double quotes fiction. And finally, to save these changes, you simply need to type in b.save, give a parentheses, hit enter, and that is going to save the changes for you. Now what happens is that as you go ahead and keep on adding books to the database, each and every book is actually stored at a particular location or a unique location, and that unique location is defined by an ID. So each and every object or each and every book is stored at one particular ID. So if you type in a.id, it will give you the ID as 1. If you type in b.id, it will give you an ID as 2. So this is mainly for making a distinction between multiple books, so that if we have two similar books, then distinction could actually be made depending upon the ID. So ID is one thing which uniquely defines your book or any item which you save into a particular table. And one more thing which I would like to point out here is that you could also call this ID as a primary key. So if you type a.pk, hit enter, as you could see, you will get the pk as 1. So pk is essentially a primary key. So if you have already learnt about databases, then you must know what a primary key is. And if you type in b.pk, you will get the answer as 2. So pk or id is one and the same thing, which is actually used to uniquely define each and every row into a database. Now the next thing which I would like to point out is that if you want to get all the books which are stored in the database, you could type in book dot objects, because essentially everything is object dot all. That is basically going to return you all the objects. But if you hit enter, you will notice that we don't actually get the actual objects, but instead we get this. And I don't know why it's not displaying success. There must be actually an error while I make these changes. Okay, so I guess I made a mistake while typing in this query. This thing should be actually the author, not the name. So I actually changed the name to XYZ, and that should be success. So that's why we actually get the book but not the name, and I'm extremely sorry for that. So if you have typed in these values correctly, then you might get the values of book and author appropriately. Function. So that's it for this lecture, and in the next lecture we will be learning a much more easier way to go ahead and add values into our database so that these types of mistakes do not happen. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.